Hi guys, and welcome back to Chengi's World. Guys, I'm so happy to have you back. You know how we're dope. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and press the little bell so you get notified every single time I upload a video. And welcome to my world. And for those of you who are already part of my world, I love you. What can I say? Let's do that thing. Okay. All right. So today I want to talk really to, I know that a lot of you guys who follow me are people who are trying to get a relationship. You're in the dating phase of your relationship, or you're in the courtship phase of your relationship, but mainly in the dating stage, you're still trying to figure out what's going on. And so today's video really is for people who are already in a relationship. Sometimes we feel like the hardest thing is to get into a relationship. Find that person that you really just want to just be with, love, and it doesn't give you any drama or trauma or cause you confusion. We're all seeking and trying to find that person that sometimes it feels like it's so hard, right? It's like, trying to conceive a child. For some people it's easy, they just get pregnant like this. Some people have to work very hard, and no matter how long it has taken you to have that child, the hardest part is not giving birth to something. It is growing that thing, keeping that thing, and establishing that thing. No matter how hard it takes for you to get your breakthrough in any area of your life, the journey to get that breakthrough is a fraction of what it takes to actually keep that thing and build that momentum and maintain that thing, because that thing, maintenance, is harder. So when we start to date with maintenance in mind, because I know that a lot of us just want to meet that person, then we think it's going to be sorted. When we meet that person, they're going to be perfect for us, they're going to tick the boxes, and then it's going to be sorted. But what we don't realize and what we don't bargain for is that you are going to have your honeymoon period, the bits when you're so in love with that person that you can't imagine a life without them, and you just want to compromise, and you just want to make the changes, and you just want to be everything that they want a woman to be, or everything that they want a man to be. But eventually you're going to get used to one another. Eventually girlfriend's gonna wake up with no makeup, or you're going to catch her without whatever. Reality happens. You're going to realize that they put their pants on one foot at a time. You're going to realize actually that when they wake up in the morning they got bad breath, and you're going to realize that they're not always in a great mood, and sometimes your jokes are not so funny, and you're going to realize that actually they have that other part of them that you're now going to have to live with. And that's when I call that the honeymoon period fades. Now, if you are starting off dating and you realize that is why I constantly emphasize on characteristics that you need to look for in the beginning. Why? Because I know that we can fall in love and have that euphoria and that honeymoon period with pretty much a psychopath. We can have it with the devil. Like, you can enjoy the first beginnings of a relationship. The chemistry is real, and you're having the conversations. But if you can think ahead and begin to think ahead into the relationship, and what you need to be looking for, you will realize that there's some things that you can tolerate in the honeymoon period that will not take you through the relationship. So why waste time? Why invest emotion in something that is only going to eventually end up ending and bringing you more pain? So today I want to talk about that bit where that honeymoon period changes, that bit when the guy knows he's got you. Okay, he has you now, so he doesn't have to make an effort so much. He doesn't send you flowers anymore. He doesn't make dates for you anymore. And now dates are in his house, flicking televisions, doing what he wants to do. He doesn't necessarily need to impress you anymore. And that happens with women as well, is we get into a comfort zone. We get into a place where we feel we have that person, and we don't need to make the adjustments anymore. And I just want to say, ding ding ding, that is illusion. Okay, the reality of it is the honeymoon period ends at the point in which two people stop making an effort, at the point in which they're deluded enough to believe that they have somebody. The one mindset that you need to have is that you never have anyone, because even if you are married to them, even if you are dating them, even if you know that they have your heart, you don't have them, because we are human beings and we can lose something. God can give you somebody. God can give you the perfect partner who loves you, understands you. But the day that you start to take that person for granted is the day that you begin to lose them. The moment you begin to take someone for granted, you begin to lose them. And the moment they start to take advantage of you, they begin to lose you. And the thought, and the naive thought, that we have somebody, that we have apprehended, that we've got that person, we don't need to make an effort, It's probably the number one relationship killer. We take people for granted. We believe that because they're tolerating our stuff, our BS, that somehow they're kind of okay with it. But the reality is they're not okay with it. What they have done is begin to begin to leave us. So when the honeymoon period ends, what do? We put in the work. Why do I say it's work? You were putting in the work in the first place, but the chemistry was going on at such a level that it didn't feel like work. It was fun. I was just listening to somebody and they reminded me of something that I already know, and they were saying, like, even if you like, I love YouTubing, I love talking to you guys, I love doing videos, but now that it's become a job, it's become almost like it's become a career for me, it's what I do now. There are days when the idea of getting up and recording a video, getting my hair ready, getting my makeup ready, setting up lighting, just feels like a chore. When I start to talk to you guys, yeah, it's great fun, but there is so much work that goes before and after, editing, etc., keeping, social media up to date, that it becomes work. It started off as a passion, something I enjoyed. I didn't even notice that I had to set up lights. I didn't even notice that I had to set up camera. The idea of doing my makeup was not a problem because I was so in love with it. I was so excited about it. But eventually it becomes your job, and you know that you need to do all of these things, and you know the drill, and you start to need to work. So it becomes a job and you start to do the work. Now, this is what I want to say to you guys. If you enter a relationship knowing that you're going to have to put in work, if you enter a relationship knowing, you know what, I'm just going to have to grind, right? Right now, I don't feel the grind because I'm so passionate in love with this person. I'm enjoying the newness of this relationship. Eventually, I'm going to have to grind. Then what you do is begin to set about habits. Now, I said to a girlfriend of mine, she was like, oh, it's not the same anymore. It doesn't feel the same. And I was like, girl, now you've got to work. Now you have to actually remember to tell him that he's a hot thing. Now you're going to have to actually remember to tell him that when he touches you, it makes your body go crazy. Things that you stop saying, that you don't realize you've stopped saying, things that you stop doing that you don't realize you stopped doing, are the ones that start to kill that relationship. So when the honeymoon period ends, the answer is put in the work. Start to work. And the beautiful thing about putting in the work, about remembering to tell him that he's a hot thing, remembering to tell him that he is incredible, that he's a good man, that he's an incredible person, keeping that romance alive, and requiring him to do the same, and saying to him, look, baby, I just love it when you did this for me, and it makes me feel special, and reminding him that this is something that can't end in our relationship. So a lot of us begin to resent putting in the work, but you got to do the work, girl. So when you start a relationship, as you go in your relationship, if you're already in a relationship and you're feeling like, you know what, I'm not feeling the same way, he's not treating me the same way that he used to. Of course he's not, okay? He's taking you for granted. Another thing that you have to do is be less predictable. Stop going about your habits. I'm not talking about playing games, people. That's a whole different kettle of fish. If you want to know about that, you need to watch my other videos, Stop Playing Games with Men. Okay, it's a bad idea. I'm not talking about playing games, but I've noticed that a lot of women are saying to one of my girlfriends, like, since you started dating, before you were dating him, you used to go swimming, you used to go to the gym, you used to do all of these things that kept you happy, that you were doing before you met him. When you met him, you stopped going to the gym, you stopped swimming, you stopped doing the things that you used to do. And when the honeymoon ends, it's time for you to reflect and think, okay, what are the things I used to do before I met him? What are the things that I used to do that made me attractive to him? Because the truth is, the things that you did to get him, the gym going, the swimming, the books you were reading, the business you were doing, the things you were pursuing before you gave them up for love, are the things that attracted him to you. The energy that you were giving out made you feel like a prize, an acquisition, like, oh my God, I've met this amazing and incredible woman. You need to go back and start to do those things again. If you'd put down a project, or if you were writing a book, if you were doing something that was inspiring you before you met him and you've stopped doing it, you need to go and do that thing, because what that will do is remind you of your personal value, that you don't get your value from another human being, that whether he tells you you're beautiful or not is not the be all and end all, that you were getting value from somewhere else before he came along. But also it allows you to really broadcast on a high volume frequency to him, and he will start to see that sexy again, and he will start to want to fight for that sexy again. But what we do is we just abandon self and go into this mode, and we think, okay, if I can just stay pretty. But pretty can get you a man, but pretty can't keep you a man. Okay, so yes, men are visual and they're attracted to it, and of course we've got to maintain. Okay, we've got to maintain, but the bottom line is, what attracted them to you was something that was going on inside of you, your vibe, your confidence, your frequency, your go-getter, I'm the girl kind of vibe that you had going on. And that's what you need to find. So when the honeymoon ends, put in the work and just make sure that you find yourself again, even in that relationship. And I promise you the fire will come right back, and you will find that your relationship will be wonderful and glorious and wonderful. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this really helped for those of you who are in a relationship and starting to feel like the fire is burning out, or for those of you who are really wanting to find a relationship, but now you go in there with a mindset of a worker. So I'll see you guys soon. Make sure I see you on Instagram, on Facebook, Chengi's World, and on Twitter I'm on there as Chengi Pot. And I will see you again on this channel in my next video. Love you guys. Take care of you. Make sure you've subscribed. Love you lots. Leave a comment. Bye bye now. Mwah. Bye.